So you're going to write your first essay in English 100 in the next few weeks. And I wanted to give you an overview of what I'm looking for in that essay. What I'm going to tell you in this presentation is not the only word on writing an essay, and it's not the last word. You'll find other resources that I have included. You can easily Google and find additional resources. I think many people will agree on the basic ingredients of writing a good essay. And what I want to tell you is that learning to write a solid, organized, well thought out essay is a skill that will benefit you in your other classes, but it will also benefit you in the future. Writing in an organized way with a beginning, middle, and end is something that will help you when you give presentations in the future, or you write reports, or even sending emails or letters. Following an organizational path when you write is really helpful. The first thing I will tell you about writing an essay is that you must have a good outline. I firmly believe that a solid, well-written outline is the key to a good essay. In your outline, you're going to list out in an organized way your introduction, your thesis, your main points for each of your body paragraphs. You're not writing it in complete sentences. You're not writing a full first draft. You're just saying, here are the kinds of things that I think I'm going to talk about in each of my paragraphs. Why is this important? Well, as you look at your outline, you can see, oh, here I'm really heavy on information. Maybe I should move some of this, or maybe I could break this paragraph into 2 paragraphs. Or I'm really light on information. I need to find some more facts and information to pack into this paragraph. And then as you write, you follow that outline, and it's like a roadmap. You stay on track. You don't go off the subject and wander into other areas. Once you have that good, solid outline, I promise you, your essay will almost write itself. I have information for you in Module 2 about how to write an outline, and I even have a fillable form for you to use as you're outlining your first essay. The next element for a good essay is your introduction. It's your starting point. You want to draw your reader in, and you want your reader to want to keep reading. You can start an introduction lots of different ways. You can begin with an interesting quote, or you can state a startling fact or statistic. You can ask a question. You can start with a story. If you've ever watched a TED Talk, you'll know that many of those presenters begin their TED Talk with an example or a story that's interesting and it makes you want to keep listening. You want to find out what happens. They'll often revisit that story at the end, and we'll talk about that when we get to conclusions. So you want your introduction to start out in a way that makes your reader want to keep going. And then in your introduction, you're going to kind of work like a funnel. Your broad first statement kind of leads down to your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is the one sentence summary that tells your reader what your entire essay is going to be about. It doesn't give every detail, it can't, but it's a broad level look at here's everything in this essay is going to tie back to this thesis statement. It's usually the last sentence of your introduction. When you're writing your thesis statement, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can make sort of a broad statement that encompasses everything your essay is going to be about, or you can actually name the 3 or 4 points you're going to write about in your essay in each of your body paragraphs. That's how I learned to write a thesis statement many years ago, was to make your thesis statement list out the main points of your body paragraph. If you're comfortable doing that, you certainly can, but you're not limited to that as well. So for this first essay that you're going to write, you're going to look at your own skill level and compare them with your skill level. You're going to compare to the NACE competencies. That's the National Association for Career and Education, and they have come up with 8 competencies that they believe everyone needs to possess to be successful in college and in your future career. So I'm going to ask you to choose 3 of those and to analyze your skills in accordance with those 3 competencies. So your thesis statement could be kind of broad. It could say something like, in looking at the NACE competencies, there are several areas I'm doing very well in, but there's one that I really need to improve. That's a broad statement that kind of then everything would tie back to. Or you could list out those competencies in your thesis. You could say, for instance, In looking at the NACE competencies, I feel I have a lot of strengths in technology and teamwork, but I really need to work on my critical thinking skills. And then you're going to talk about technology, teamwork, and critical thinking in your body paragraphs. So your thesis is your last sentence of the introduction, and it transitions into your first body paragraph. Your body paragraphs are the places where you really prove your thesis statement. The body paragraph is kind of the meat of your essay, if you will. And sometimes I've even written my introduction last. You can always write your body and then come back and write that introduction once you know what you're introducing. So in your body paragraph, remember, there are no certain number of paragraphs needed. I learned to write a 5-paragraph essay when I was a student, and maybe you've been introduced to that model as well. It's a perfectly great model for writing an essay, but you shouldn't feel limited to a 5-paragraph essay. You can write as many body paragraphs as you need to prove out your thesis. Each body paragraph is going to start with a topic sentence. That's like a mini thesis statement for your paragraph. So if you think of the thesis statement as the overall umbrella that tells you everything that's going to come underneath it in your essay, your topic sentence is like a mini umbrella for that paragraph alone. So maybe your first paragraph is, I feel that technology is one of my strongest areas in the NACE competencies. And then that entire body paragraph is going to talk about technology, what you're good at, what skills you have already, how those will translate to success in college and career, how those relate to what NACE says is really important in terms of having good technological skills. I'm asking you to use some outside sources in this essay, and those NACE articles and PowerPoints and other things will be perfect for that. So I'll provide some of those to you. You can also do your own research. I'm going to ask you to cite your sources. I'm going to give you information about citing sources, but I'm not real picky about it on this first essay. As we dig in further, I'm going to be a little more particular about how you cite your sources. But I do want you to use MLA formatting, and we'll get more into that as the semester goes on. As you write your second body paragraph, it's nice to transition from the first one to the second one, to connect those ideas. It could be something as simple as starting your second body paragraph with, in addition to technology, I feel like I bring good skills in teamwork to my college and future career. And then you're going to talk about teamwork. Same thing for body paragraph 2 and then body paragraph 3. My rainbow has another arc, so this is a 4 body paragraph essay, so it would be a 6-paragraph essay overall. And so you write all those body paragraphs, they all connect back to your thesis and your introduction. And then finally, my last piece slides in. This is the conclusion. Now, I know it's the smallest piece of the rainbow. That is not to imply that it is the least important part of your essay. It isn't, but it all should fit in. Actually, your conclusion could almost look like another level of your rainbow here on the top, because your conclusion should tie everything together, make your essay feel finished, and it should leave your reader feeling satisfied with your essay. The best thing I ever heard about a conclusion, and I don't know if I heard it from a teacher or if I read it in a book, but it was this idea that your conclusion should move your topic one tiny half step forward. In other words, don't just rehash what you've already said. Don't just restate your thesis statement. You've already done that. You can kind of summarize and tie up the points of your essay, but can you say something that's going to move it just a little bit further? Could you say, if you've talked about technology and teamwork and critical thinking, could you talk about how they're going to benefit you in the future, maybe, or what you see for yourself after you've learned these skills? You don't want to go off on a new tangent. You don't want to introduce a totally different idea in your conclusion, but you don't just want to repeat what you've already said either. Can you find that balance? I will be giving you feedback on your first draft and on your outline when you complete it. I will give you chances to revise. And hopefully as we move forward in the semester, you will get a good understanding of what I'm looking for in your essays, and I hope that what I'm looking for will also benefit you in all of your future writings as well.